first up, looking at your old position, Greg, what characteristics do you value the most in a fullback? Having seen fullbacks with many different styles over the years.
Yeah, and there's different styles of fullbacks out now. I think other than your halfbacks, that your fullback's probably the most important position on the field, defensively and with ball in hand as well. Defensively, they're your eyes, and they direct the guys where they're going, they count the numbers and push the defence where they need to go. So communication skills have got to be a must. They've got to be loud, they've got to be clear, and they've got to be dominant as well. I think when you've got ball in hand, there's a couple of different types of fullback. You can have one that's almost a second or a third pivot, a third halfback really, who've got some play in him. Then you've also got the running halfback as well, that's maybe not as pass orientated, but people that've got a more strike play about them. But I think you've got to have instinct as well, know the game, read the game well, and try and sniff out them opportunities. It depends what sort of fullback you're looking for, what might complement your team, and each team will look for somebody slightly different, I guess.
We've got different kind of positions. A couple of questions about our perceived lack of, but not really lack of. But second rows, there's a chap saying Rod Greaves, we've only got 2 second rows he can think of, but can you enlighten us there?
There's out and out back rows, I suppose. Manu Luby, but George can play back row centre, Flinney can play centre. Bucky's moved up to back row last week and did a good job. We've got Josh Tonks, of course, that has played back row and middle and done a good job for us. So we've got plenty of options in all over the park, to be fair, but certainly back row as well.
And we've got a large number of backs, all of good quality, and are used to playing regularly. Do you guys envisage how you might manage a competition for places, and you consider any dual reg loans out of the club?
There's no dual reg this year, that's done and dusted, but I think they're looking at short-term loans that they've mentioned. In fact, it might have been approved now. I think the loan period has now come down to 2 weeks as opposed to a month initially. So that's always going to be an option that's open to us as long as the guys that we've got in the club that fit in well. We want people playing as much as they possibly can, but you've got to have competition for places. And I think you've seen already the quality that the guys have got because of the competition for places. We've got maybe 5 players who can play on that wing equally as well, and if somebody dips in the performances, then they'll come out and somebody else get an opportunity. Likewise in the outside backs as well, we've got a number of people that can play in that centre position. We've already seen that Elliot and Luke Cooley have both played full back in the first 2 games, so we've got quality in that position as well. And I think you've got to have that competition for places, and it generates good performances not only in game days but in training as well. I think we've seen the intensity in training rise this year due to the competition for places that we've got, so I think it's healthy. And yeah, it's going to be difficult to manage at times when you've got people that obviously want to play. Nobody wants to sit on the sidelines not playing, but it's up to us as a coaching staff to justify the team selections that we make, but it's also down to the players to justify their selection within the team. So we don't pick the team, the players pick the team, we just put the shirts on the back based on how they train, how they play.
And I should know better than to ask a coach if he wants to bring more players in, but have you got are there any plans for any more players? Is there still anything you're looking at, or are you happy with what you've got?
We're happy with what we've got at the minute. If somebody becomes available, then obviously we'll look into that. But anybody who comes into the group have got to be, I'd say, better than what we've currently got here, or potentially better than what we've got here. They've got to add something. So if anybody does come in, then it'll be probably a more experienced player that comes in that's maybe played a lot of first team. They'll be somewhere else. But we'll judge that as we see it. You're not going to start. You're not going to end the season with the players that you started with. So people are going to come, people are going to go. So it's going to be a fairly fluid situation, I think, throughout the year. But if we ended the season now, or we ended as recruitment now with what we've got, then I think we'd be fairly happy with the depth that we've got at this moment in time. Injuries are going to change that. We've already seen so far. We've missed a few players already in the first game, the first competitive game of the season. Brown has been out, Manu has been out, Anthony Bowman's been out, and Retz has been out as well. So you're going to need a few more injuries to crop up to maybe need to bring some short-term people in.
Buck, I think if you are bringing more players into the squad, it seems this year it's not just about ability; it's about the personality of the individual. You've got a real tight group there, and that's pretty evident that everybody is the right kind of character.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, the culture of the place is massive for us at a club like Batley, and we've got a real good culture building, I feel. The players, we've been speaking to players individually throughout pre-season, and it seems like an happy place. Everybody's enjoying training, so it's important that we maintain that culture. And like I say, it's got to be the right people that come in. So You know, we've always got our ears to the ground and we're always looking and seeing what's about, but they're going to have to be good to come into this squad and to get a shirt.
And finally, a couple of new rule changes coming in this year. Are there any particular rules that you kind of your favourites, if you like, or anything you'd like to see change in the game?
For me, I think as soon as scrums are allowed to reform, I think they need to come back in. I think it's a bit of a negative restart. I mean, I know they brought it in Australia where if the ball goes over the touch line, either from a kick-off or a pass, they restart it with a play the ball, which I think is a bit of a negative rule change. You've got a 10-man defensive line and 2 markers there, so if you're coming out of your own 20, the teams just kick the ball into touch. I think for me, I know scrums are just a way to restart the game, but you get 6 on 6 as opposed to 10 and 2 markers of the defensive line, and something that I would like to change as well. Again, when you watch a lot of NRL, you see that if you get a good ball scrum in the opponent's 20-metre line, 99 times out of 100 the defensive team will just get offside and just try to shut the play down, which means at the minute it's an differential penalty, so you can't go for goal. So I think I'd like to see that change, that if you get a deliberate offside from an attacking scrum, you get the opportunity to go for goal and take the 2 points.
Anything yourself, Matt?
To be honest, we're just getting used to the changes that have just happened. So for me, don't change any more for now. You know, let's get used to these, and you know, we're just starting to get the systems in place, and the lads are just getting used to the new rules. So no more changes for now. But you know, come the end of the season, we'll either like or we won't like these changes probably. But for now, just leave it as it is.